The avoidant thrives in long-distance relationships in ways they never can when proximity demands consistent presence and emotional availability. Physical distance provides the perfect structure for their attachment style, allowing them to experience connection without the suffocation they associate with daily intimacy. In long-distance dynamics, the avoidant can maintain the illusion of commitment while preserving the autonomy they desperately need. They can engage when their nervous system feels regulated and withdraw when overwhelmed, all while framing the distance as circumstantial rather than intentional avoidance. This setup is not coincidence. It is the ideal environment for someone whose core wound tells them that closeness equals danger and independence equals safety. Distance removes the pressure of daily intimacy. In close proximity relationships, the avoidant faces constant demands for emotional presence that trigger their deactivation response. Daily check-ins feel like surveillance. Spending evenings together feels like obligation. Sharing physical space requires negotiation and compromise that the avoidant experiences as loss of autonomy. But long distance eliminates these daily pressures entirely. Communication becomes scheduled rather than expected. Video calls have defined start and end times. There is no assumption of constant availability because physical separation provides built-in justification for independence. The avoidant can go hours or days without contact and attribute it to time zones, work schedules, or the natural challenges of distance rather than their emotional unavailability. This external excuse for their internal pattern is liberating. They no longer have to defend their need for space or manage someone else's disappointment about their withdrawal. The distance does that work for them. They can control the depth of connection. Long-distance relationships allow the avoidant to curate intimacy in doses they can tolerate. They engage during scheduled calls when they have mentally prepared for interaction, presenting their best self for a contained period. But they can retreat immediately afterward into their independent life without the lingering presence of a partner who might notice their withdrawal or demand continued engagement. This controlled exposure to intimacy is perfect for the avoidant nervous system. They get just enough connection to satisfy the human need for attachment without so much that it triggers their fear of engulfment. They can miss their partner in theory while avoiding the reality of what daily partnership actually requires. The relationship exists in highlight reels, special visits, and idealized communication, rather than in the mundane negotiations of shared life that the avoidant finds so threatening. Physical absence allows idealization to flourish. The avoidant struggles with the reality of intimate partnership because real people have needs, moods, and imperfections that require patience and accommodation. But long distance allows the avoidant to maintain an idealized version of their partner and the relationship. Without daily exposure to human complexity, they can project fantasy onto the connection. Their partner becomes the perfect person they imagine during absence, rather than the real person with real needs they would have to navigate in proximity. This idealization prevents the devaluation that typically occurs when the avoidant feels too close to someone. The distance preserves the fantasy, and fantasy is always safer than reality for someone terrified of genuine intimacy. The avoidant can be in love with the idea of the person and the relationship without having to confront the work that actual partnership requires. Separation provides built-in escape routes. Perhaps most importantly, long-distance relationships offer the avoidant multiple exit strategies that feel less cruel than outright abandonment. If the relationship becomes too much, the avoidant can allow the distance to naturally erode connection without taking clear responsibility for ending things. They can become less responsive, less available, less engaged, and blame it on the challenges of maintaining connection across distance. They can create a slow fade that feels mutually agreed upon rather than unilateral abandonment. And if they need to end things definitively, the physical separation makes it easier. There is no shared apartment to navigate, no mutual friend group to manage, no daily routine to untangle. They can simply stop showing up emotionally and let the distance do the rest. This built-in escape valve provides the security the avoidant needs to engage at all. They know they are never truly trapped because distance provides perpetual exit options that proximity does not. The illusion of commitment without the reality. Long-distance relationships allow the avoidant to claim commitment while avoiding its actual requirements. They can tell themselves and others they are in a serious relationship, satisfying their desire to be partnered and avoiding the stigma of perpetual singleness or serial dating. But the distance ensures that this commitment remains largely theoretical. They are committed in name without having to demonstrate commitment through consistent daily presence, emotional labor, or the vulnerability of being truly known. The relationship exists in a suspended state where the avoidant gets the benefits of partnership, the validation of being chosen, the comfort of having someone who cares about them, without having to pay the cost of intimacy that proximity would demand. This is why avoidants are happier in long-distance relationships. Not because the distance makes them miss their partner more, but because the distance protects them from the intimacy they claim to want, but are fundamentally terrified of experiencing.